So you can be sitting down, you can be laying down, you can be even stretching and doing things if that's what you got to be doing. And hopefully, wherever you're at, when you listen to this, it will still be beneficial to you in some way. So, if you'd like to listen to this in a still position, you can take all the time you need to arrive. You can do some neck rolls, maybe some side body bends, or torso twist, some cat-cows with the spine. Just take all the time you need moving however your body wants to move. And using this as a chance to practice intuitive movement. So not thinking too much about how you're moving or what the movements look like, but just letting your body move in the ways that feel good. And if for whatever reason, what feels best for your body right now is stillness, letting yourself be still whenever you need to be. And no rush whatsoever. You can let yourself move for as long as it feels good. But when you are ready, you can let yourself come to a still position with the spine nice and straight, if that's how you'd like to listen to this today. And if you're in a space where you feel safe to do so, at any point you can allow your eyes to gently close. You can mark your arrival to your practice today with a full and deep cleansing breath. As you take a long, slow inhale in through the nose, letting yourself fill up. Pausing for just a moment when you're full and just noticing what that feels like. And as you need to, slowly letting it go. Exhaling bit by bit, pushing that final bit of air out of you to truly empty yourself and pause to feel that emptiness. As you allow your next breath to come as it's needed. You can breathe just like that for a few more rounds, for as long as that feels good. Just exaggerating the 4 parts of your breath. Your inhale, the pause at the top of the inhale, the exhale, and the pause at the bottom of the exhale. And taking a moment to just remind yourself that this is your practice. And you might hear teachers saying that a lot, like this is your practice, this is your time. But really what that means is that if I say anything, if you hear any cues that don't resonate with you or don't feel good in your body, letting yourself be the first teacher. Letting my cues and words be starting points or suggestions on things to focus on or places to bring your attention. But if you are feeling called to focus on something else or bring your attention somewhere else within you, not feeling bad about that whatsoever and just trusting your own instincts of attention and focus. And if you haven't already, whenever you're ready, you can release this guidance or control over your breath altogether. And allow yourself to feel like you're stepping almost back and up in your mind into the role of the observer, into the role of the witness, into a point of mind where you can observe your body breathing without having any direct effect or control on the rhythm of that breath or the depth. Remembering that your body does breathe on its own, and you do not need to be focusing on your breath in order to breathe. Remembering how your body is still breathing even when you are deep in sleep. So awakening that same sense of a deep, natural, automatic breath. And remembering that sometimes this feels difficult to do. feels difficult to focus on your breath without controlling it. So it is completely okay if that's where you are right now. Maybe it feels better for you to bring attention to the physical sensations in your body. You can start by just turning your inner gaze to peer into the forehead. Becoming curious of what you can see, even with the eyes closed. And as you stare into your forehead, into that dark space, you can just notice if there's any tension that's resting there. And see if you can let go just a little bit more across the forehead and the eyebrows, and let this space get a little bit wider, a little bit deeper, just by releasing those muscles. And even starting to soften your eyeballs, just letting them be held by the sockets. Relaxing the eyelids, letting them just be softly closed. Letting the same sense of release and softness naturally spread to your jaw. As you just let your whole mouth be heavy, your tongue, your cheeks, your lips. As you feel your chin relax, your nostrils. Naturally softening the upper cheeks and the jaw. Letting that same sense of release spread to the ears, spread to the hairline, the scalp. Naturally spreading down the neck, down the shoulders, across the collarbones, down the arms and the hands. You just allow the full weight of your arms and hands to exist. Maybe almost feeling like the muscles are rolling off of the bones, ungripping from the bones. Even if just for a moment, finding some space of stillness and release, where you are not trying to change anything about what you are feeling right now, but you are simply allowing yourself to feel what you are feeling right now. As you soften the stomach, the glutes, the pelvic floor, and the hips. All the muscles of the legs and the feet. It's coming into this space of allowance, where you allow your body to exist exactly as it already does. And sometimes we can all get stuck in a state of mind where we are trying to change, where we are trying to feel something different or feel better. And just that trap of self-improvement, and that self-help trap, where we are constantly trying to better ourselves, trying to get ourselves to a place that we don't believe we are at right now. Thinking that if we sit down to meditate a little bit longer or do a little bit more yoga, that we will be a better person, a better version of ourselves. And these healing practices are helpful. They are helpful in our healing journey. They are helpful in our relationship with ourselves as a time to spend focusing on us and on our feelings. However, they are not meant to be used to change you drastically or improve you in any way. They're meant to help you with the acceptance of the way you already are. And if that sense of peace and acceptance makes you feel like a better version of yourself or like you have improved, then that's great. I'm not trying to take anything away from that sense, but sometimes that striving, where we feel like we need to be better, at its core, what that message communicates to ourselves is that we are not enough and that we are not good right now. Or maybe we are our lower selves. And there's nothing wrong with setting goals and achieving those goals. We must be careful to not put ourselves down in trying to achieve things in our lives. Take a moment to remind yourself that we are allowed to fully embrace and love who we are at this exact moment, and at the same time strive toward goals and strive toward feeling better in life in general. And not letting your goals take away from who you are right now or put yourself down. Knowing that both can be true. You are allowed to love yourself fully for who you are at this exact moment. And at the same time, have goals for ways you would like to feel, or for feelings you would like to feel more often, maybe. And just being so careful that in your self-help journey, in your practices for self-care, being so careful that you leave space for loving who you are right now and loving the past versions of yourself as well. Knowing that you do have the capacity, you do have the ability to love all versions of you. And you don't have to put down certain versions in order to strive toward what you perceive as better versions. And you can use your self-help practices and self-care time to instead integrate all these versions of yourself. You can allow yourself to be a fuller embodiment of you. All the unique aspects that make you up. Knowing that you are the only one with bones shaped the exact way your bones are shaped, with muscles that hug your bones exactly the way yours do. You are the only one who is feeling exactly what you're feeling, thinking what you are thinking, seeing and hearing and just perceiving what you perceive. And just feeling that uniqueness that is you. Allow yourself to soften into that space, soften into that appreciation for yourself. As you start to bring attention to whatever part of your physical body is making contact with the surface that supports you. And just allowing your body to exhale fully and release into that support. Allow yourself to be held by the earth beneath you. Imagining what it feels like to hug someone or something, some animal maybe, who you love so deeply. In that moment where you exhale and allow yourself to be held. Where time seems to slow down for a moment. And awakening that same sense, letting yourself be hugged by the earth beneath you. Knowing that you are being hugged by gravity, holding you close to the earth. You are safe to let go. And at the same time that you allow yourself to be heavy and held and safe, you can start to awaken a sense of lightness, and like you're almost being lifted closer toward the sky above you. Whatever part of your body is facing the sky, it's almost being magnetically drawn or guided closer to that light, to the sun or the moon, whatever time of day it is for you. Allowing yourself to feel light and lifted. And letting yourself feel heavy and supported. And without thinking about this, just noticing how you can feel heavy and supported and held at the same time as you feel light and lifted. That you do have the capacity to hold multiple feelings and ideas within you. You do not need to pick a side. You do not need to be all in on one sensation, one feeling, one idea, and completely push away all opposing ideas. You are your own little world. You imagine your body as the earth itself. And when you picture the earth in all its glory, you can see and you know that the earth contains so much pain and suffering and hurt. And at the same time, it contains so much joy and love and beauty. And the pain and hurt and suffering that the earth contains does not erase all the love and joy and beauty, and vice versa. But the earth has the capacity to hold these opposing ideas and sensations at the same time. The earth is dynamic and whole and beautiful, just as you are. You are your own planet. You are your own world. And the love and joy inside of you does not have to, nor should it, erase all the pain and suffering you have experienced or are experiencing. And the pain and suffering you have experienced or are experiencing does not erase all the joy and love you have felt and you are feeling. So just allowing yourself to exist in this full range of life. You are a full and whole, beautiful human. You exist just like the world does. You contain a whole world within you. And this world is beautiful and it is whole. And it exists on the full range of emotions, feelings, ideas. So letting yourself break free from any limits that are placed on you or you might place on yourself. Knowing that these limits often show up as should statements or should feelings. When you really just want to cry, maybe scream or punch a pillow, but you swallow it and say, I should be grateful, or I should be happy. Or when you're feeling happy and joyful, and there's something really tragic going on, and you telling yourself that you should feel sad. And just knowing that those shoulds are the limits. And just by noticing when those come up, that allows you to soften into what is and not what you believe should be. So allowing yourself to cry, to scream, to punch, to jump, to do whatever you need to do to move through what you are feeling. And allowing yourself to laugh and love and dance when you are feeling joyful. And knowing that just by noticing when you do place those limits on yourself, that is all you need to do. That automatically will bring you into that fuller state of yourself where you have the ability to observe. You have the ability to feel more fully what is. And as often as you need to, reminding yourself that whatever you are feeling is what you should be feeling, or else you would not be feeling it. And the only way to get to different emotions is through. And sometimes if we have these big ideas that keep bubbling up within us, and we just push them down and don't want to look at them or are disturbed or feel upset by what's coming up, and we just shove it down deeper and deeper, all that does is allow it to echo more fully within you and control you in a deeper way. So just using those opportunities when emotions do arise, when sadness, when anger, when things that you might not label as being pleasant feelings, when they arise, letting them arise, letting them come out of you, letting yourself move through those feelings. Knowing that pushing it down does not get rid of them. And you are allowed to feel things that aren't pleasant. We are meant to feel things that are less than great. We are meant to feel the full range of human emotion. And there can be a lot of people these days, especially, who want to love and light on everything and just cover up all the darkness and sad and hurt with love and light. Love and light are great. We need that too. But we also need darkness. We also need time in the shadows. And a great example, metaphor for this, that is a constant reminder that you can bring up when you are dealing with more difficult emotions, is the moon. Our moon, in ancient and Hellenistic astrology, our moon represents our body, so our physical body. And the sun represents our soul. And our body does not have a light of its own. It is simply matter. The moon does not have a light of its own. It simply reflects. It reflects the light of the sun. Our body is animated by the light of our soul. And there are times when we have a full moon, and the moon is fully illuminated by the sun. It is bright within the darkness. It is shining down, guiding others with its light. And there are also times where the moon is a new moon, and it is completely in the shadows. It is not reflecting any light from the sun. It's still there, but it's just hibernating. It's in a phase of darkness. And then there are all those phases in between the new moon and the full moon. And we act in the exact same way. There will be times when we are full and feel connected and whole and holy and illuminated by our soul, by life and by light. And we can be a light for others in the darkness and shine for others. And there are also phases where we are a new moon and we feel completely disconnected and in the dark from our soul and maybe lost. And then all the phases in between. We are not meant, nor will we ever, just stop at one phase and stay there forever. We're not meant to stay as a full moon forever. And we're not meant to stay as a new moon forever, and we won't. Even when we are in a phase and it feels like that is the only way we've ever felt, and that is the only way we will ever feel, we will always move on to the next phase, because that is life. The only constant is change. So just using that as your permission to be whatever phase of the moon you are today. Trusting that the next phase is just around the corner. So letting yourself be as you are. And taking the next minute or so to just sit in silence with you, listening to your own heartbeat, to your own breath, resting in your own uniqueness. And just Taking a moment to feel how your heart is also beating in your hands. Feeling that life force, that pulse that is in your hands. And if it feels like something you'd like to do today, you can just let the pulse of your palms be drawn toward each other as your hands come to a prayer position at heart center. The fingers and palms making contact. You can press your thumbs toward your heart and let your heart lift back toward your thumbs. Just feeling that power that is generated from you. And as you take a deep breath into the body, let yourself fill up the most you filled up today. And as you exhale, allow yourself to let go of anything you're ready to let go of as you let your head gently bow. And just bowing to the source of energy that allows your heart to beat, whatever you believe that to be. Bowing to the constant source of guidance and inspiration all around you, whatever that means to you. Bowing to everyone else in this space who has listened and completed this practice right alongside you. And finally, bowing to yourself for choosing to show up today and taking the time out of your busy life for this pure act of self-love and self-care. May this act continue to heal you through the rest of your days and nights. And may you bring the same love and understanding to everything you do and everyone you see. Thank you.